Okay, this is presidential candidate David Formhals. This is just going to be a short ad, number 9. And I've been trying to think of things I can kind of promise. And that's like, I got to sort out where this money will come from every time so you know where the money comes from. That's like they say in times of peace, if you print too much money, the money's no good. But in times of war, if you don't print enough money and you lose the war, then the money's no good. And you don't print enough money, and you got to pull a pothole out in your streets and the road's no good. And if you don't print enough money for the infrastructure, the whole country's no good. So I'm going to have a Department of Peace where we print enough money and so everything will work. We print enough money so the whole country will work. Now, I can remember vaguely, and it's a pretty good vaguely, that when I was a kid, from when I was old enough to remember, every year when it came around tax time, my mom and dad were divorced. My mom had to figure her own income taxes because she couldn't afford to go anywhere to have somebody figure them. She about had a nervous breakdown every time she figured them, figuring income taxes. So I thought, well, it would probably be a good idea for poor people if you go out and the federal government would pay for a lawyer for everybody to pay, figure income taxes. So I'm going to say now that the federal government, because if we can afford to go to war and take the chance that, if we build a $500 million plane that may get shot down the first time it goes up, we can afford for the federal government to pay for them to figure your income taxes so you don't have a nervous breakdown worrying that you're going to go to jail just because you got a digit out of line, not because you're trying to cheat this crooked government that when they get money from nowhere and spend $500 million on a plane that gets shot, they want you to pay for it, which ain't right. Anyway, then it's right that they spend $500 million on the plane that defends us so the enemy don't come over here and put us in a concentration camp. It's right that we spend $500 million on the plane to defend us so an enemy don't come over here and attack us. It's only right that we spend $500 million on the plane, but it ain't right that the country, when this money comes from nowhere because we don't have it, the Mayflower didn't have this money to borrow it from. Nobody had this money to borrow from. It's wrong that we got to pay it back to nobody. But anyways, when the federal government pays your attorney, you don't have to pay this money back to nobody. This money will come from nobody, and you don't have to pay it back to nobody. This is only a 3-minute ad so far, but I'm just saying, when you go to file your taxes, you'll be able to hire somebody to figure your income taxes. You just go in there with your box of paperwork. I don't know how you may have to do it a little bit neater than some, but you just go in there and the income tax agency will figure your income tax, and the government will pay them to do it, and then you just pay your taxes. I mean, my mom about had a nervous breakdown. She was worried she was going to go to jail if she made a mistake. So you won't have to worry about making a mistake on your income taxes. You just sign on the dotted line and pay it. My mom was worried she was going to make a mistake and have to go to jail for some calculating error because we didn't have adding machines back then. And, if you made a mistake in math, it was too late. So I'm just saying that if elected, this money will come from nowhere, and the federal government, they'll probably lose money, figured that if it may cost more to have, somebody figure your taxes than they can get, but that's just, tough, but that's just the way it's going to be. From now on, if elected, you're electing the idea, not the man. This money comes from nowhere. That's like the national debt. That came from nowhere. They didn't borrow that money from anybody. They're just saying we got a debt. and I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to pay this debt off. We don't really have that money to pay it off. I ain't got a the whole country don't have like 13 or whatever million trillion dollars we got to pay it back. We don't have enough money to fix the roads as it is. We don't have enough money to fix what we got in the future. So what can we pay off what we borrowed in the past? So, and then we need the future, so we might as well keep on keeping on. We aren't borrowing it. We aren't borrowing, and we aren't really printing it. It's just electricity going down a wire. You download on a card. Chances are, when you go in and get your W-2 or whatever form, you get it wherever you get it. You just get a card that's got your name on it, or you'll just put your name on it with a barcode, and you just hand it into the guy that does your income tax, and it'll just zip on the thing, and he'll automatically get paid. You'll put your Social Security number or your income tax number or whatever on it, and he'll just run it through the machine, and he'll get credited to whatever he charges. You put your name on it, your Social Security number on it, your income tax number on it, or whatever it is, and he'll get paid. You get credited that you paid it, and you pay your income taxes, and everything will get figured in there. And David Formhals, presidential candidate, you're voting for the idea, not the man. The government shouldn't be a profit-making organization. They should be there to take care of the people, not to make money. They should be there to take care of the people, not to make money at it. It's not necessary the government makes money at taking care of the people. The government should be there to supply roads, to supply bridges, supply ways to get food to the people, not to make money at it. The government shouldn't be making money at taking care of the people. And I thank you for your support. The primary is coming up here shortly. Please vote for me in the primary, even if you don't vote for me in the election. You don't have to vote for me for president, just in the primary. Thank you.